Are you interested in ever like engaging in political activism, like turning your channel into like, or leveraging your channel into, sort of like what, Destiny became a big streamer and then did like campaigning for Democrats in Georgia?
Not mainstream stuff too much. Okay. Definitely like smaller scale, like local. I think local smaller scale stuff is going to be, especially right now in the state of the world, state of the country, is going to be more valuable than me canvassing for freaking what's the black senator from here's name?
Sure, whoever.
That Destiny allegedly helped win.
Warnock.
Warnock, yeah. Right? Like Warnock, as Democrats go, is probably like on the less harmful scale of things, right? But at the end of the day, he's still very much in line with
neoliberal.
Very much that. Versus if I get, the Cop City stuff, we ended up losing that battle, at least for now. But at the time, that being like something I lended my platform to, helped create a lot of local activity and attention, a little money for these organizations, et cetera. And I think that's way more valuable. Plus, politics are a stressful thing to make your life if you're not passionate about it. And
I agree.
I'm passionate about the nature of the politics that I want to see and put in the world, but not about being political, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm very much. The reason I ask is because while I enjoy the creative aspect of these videos, I mean, ultimately my goal is to get involved in policy and, making an impact in the real world, pragmatically. I mean, my whole philosophy is pragmatism. That's CJ's sort of, what would you say, baseline philosophy, at least as of right now. And it's all about, it doesn't matter. Truth is, you can say whatever you want, but truth is ultimately determined by what happens when you act the words out that you say in real life. Mm-hmm. And for me, like, I do think politically, the alternative, what I don't know, we call it, independent online YouTube space, whatever, alternative media, let's say, that is the next wave of influence. And I do think that in the next 5 years, we're going to see a shift where online figures like you, like me, like Destiny, whoever, can begin to actually enact change by leveraging their audiences. Like, for example, I'm not committing anything for my audience, but like Thomas Massey's a Republican congressman who I very much support. He's about balancing the budget, and he's very critical of Israel, or at least he's critical of the influence that Israel has in our elections, which I think is a perfectly reasonable thing to be critical of. I believe the Republican Jewish Coalition or something like that said, if Thomas Massey runs for Senate, we're going to have an unlimited war chest against him. And I'm half considering, okay, well, that's in a year and a half. Maybe I spend the next year building a platform to leverage my audience and say, hey, when we get 25 to 50 people, we'll go to Kentucky and we'll canvass. And at minimum, I learn some of the political process, but then also potentially make a difference. And I do think having a network of online influencers that could theoretically do that, leverage their audience in targeted ways, is how you enact change. Even if it's just like ranked choice voting. Mm-hmm. Like I assume that you're fairly a fan of third parties, yes or no, or maybe?
I'm a fan of getting rid of the parties we have right now.
Okay, so like ranked choice voting.
Parties conceptually, yes.
Yeah. So ranked choice voting enables that.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think there should be a wave over the next 4 years, or I don't know, 10 years, of all the online influencers who are smart enough to recognize the validity of ranked choice voting. To go, all right, we're all going to leverage our audiences. It doesn't really matter what political positions we believe. This is a deeply enlightened centrist project I'm proposing. Like, it's the fact that we disagree is what makes it honestly more interesting and potential and dangerous. Mm-hmm. It's like we all agree that ranked choice voting should be good. So then every city, every state that has ranked choice voting on the ballot, a couple times a year, everyone gathers. Just suddenly 400 people now show up across different influencers. And I like to think, FD, that me being the problematic white centrist, the Klaus Schwab.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The Klaus Schwab of YouTube politics, that I could, in fact, potentially rally enough people. This is not a recruitment campaign, but it's the point about bridge building, like why I want to have these dialogues and why I want to be able to get better at having the conversations like this, are because I do think that's a possibility. Again, I don't want to commit to it for the reasons you said.
You're
I don't want to get involved politically, like my whole life. Like that's too much.
No, but I do want to affirm that you're correct. And I've talked to, I'll just say people that are very far from your general political position that have said as much. And it's something that I'm actually working on. My next video is touching on Beyonce of all people. And I'm kind of talking about like I'm sorry, I'm late and I'm less eloquent than usual. But like the kind of like weird space of being a political content creator puts you in the context of what actual political leaders looked like years ago. So I wrote something about the fact that I am more popular today and can amass more easily a larger movement of people today in 2025 than many of the luminaries I quote could. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. Yeah.
Like I don't think Malcolm X has 1 million subscribers. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Yeah.
So,
well, and especially his fame came way later in life, like
all of it
unfolded, right?
Yeah. All of, like the thing people don't often think about is the fact, specifically with black radical politics and even not so radical folks within like the nebulous civil rights movement, or people whose legacies are less radical, like MLK, less radical. Erroneously, I would say. I want to be clear on that. But we're never as popular as we imagine them to be looking back today in their own time. Much like many artists, their art isn't worth anything until they're dead and they get proclaimed to be great by tastemakers here and there, right? So there is actually a lot of potential for exactly what you're talking about. And like if I had to like pair with people who I find relatively unscrupulous to get ranked choice voting, I'd be a fool not to do that, in my opinion. Now, there's some people to my left that are not even gonna like the fact that I'm here.
I was gonna say there's no one to the left of you, but
that's what. Just like Kamala Harris is a communist.
Yeah, right. Yeah, or that I'm far right. Yeah.
But I am also very much a pragmatist. My pragmatism is probably a little more radical. I'm a radical pragmatist. So you're just making up shit. I am a radical pragmatist, and that is my new thing. As you do your rebrand, radical I will also do my rebrand.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
But no, like so you're correct in that. Like the fact that if I can sell 10,000 t-shirts, I can get 500 people to show up somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
And so like those 500 people to show up somewhere well organized can mean a lot of things. So it's really just a matter of like effort and organization
and leadership.
And the problem for me specifically is that's just not something like for me, like all of y'all, no shade to anybody in particular, but most of the people in this space talking the game, Zoomers, young millennials, kids,
poor, useless,
good, low blood pressure, poor. You're right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lacking resources. And as I'm talking to you right now, I'm looking at the clock so I know when to yell to tell 2 kids to go to bed. Yeah. And that in and of itself is also like a manifestation of like late capitalist dystopia that I have to measure, liberation activity with fatherhood. I have to balance that. You know what I'm saying?
Balance is my favorite value. It's the ultimate value, arguably. Yeah, there's a conspiracy. There's a conspiracy. I don't read the comments, so hypothetically, people accuse me of being right wing, which is just completely out of the world for me. I don't understand how that can be the case. But then I find it interesting then that, for example, you or CJ or other people, I can then have a dialogue with, but in interesting ways, where it's like you and CJ both said like, you're like actually centrist, because the whole meme is like, well, centrists are just right wingers, or if you're on the right wing, centrists are just left wingers with a speed limit. And going back to the I'm internalizing that value. Now the other problem though is I've learned. You ever seen Mean Girls?
Yes,
I can't.
Movies actually.
Yeah, you can't make fetch a thing, and no matter how hard I try to make centrism a thing, it has its limits. Now I will say it's not a useless endeavor, and it got me this far.
Mm-hmm. It saddens me to see you give up on your dreams like this.
Oh, give up, adapt, and overcome. FD.
Okay.
Like I said, the rebranding will be epic. But yeah, but the point is, basically politics is a coordination problem where it's like you and I and probably Andrew Wilson, who's a guy who I think would describe himself as far right or dissident right, who I've talked to. I believe Andrew would be in favor of ranked choice voting. He might not, but he's like, we're looking for alternative power structures. And so if like the dream be like, okay, someone like Andrew, who not in every possible way, on some core fundamental dimensions are utterly opposed, will do the Starks and Lannisters get together to kill the Night King thing. So we kill the Night King and then go, all right, at least it'll guarantee that one of us wins. Yeah, right, exactly. Which is like there's a scene from Drake's Uncharted. I don't know how many video games you play.
I played the first one, but I played it like literally when it came out.
Yeah, like on PS3 or whatever, Xbox 360. Yeah, the first one at one of the last missions is the main bad guy. You eventually confront the main bad guy, and then all the demon monsters come out.
Yeah, and
then you go,
what kind of game did this just happen?
Yeah. Then you go back to back with the guy, and he's like, "I just want you to know, I hate your guts." And then you start killing all the zombies. It's like that's enlightened centrism right there.
But see, go ahead. I don't want to.
No. That's the termination of.
But see, here's the thing. Who'd you say his name was? Something Wilson.
Andrew Wilson. Yeah, he's on Piers Morgan now fairly often.
Okay, so here's the thing. Like let's you are a Luigi fan, right?
I would not describe myself like Luigi's Mansion. Luigi Mangione. I would not reduce my deeply nuanced thoughts to saying I'm a Luigi fan.
Right. Well,
I recognize the complexity of the situation. I would not dismiss someone who calls themselves a Luigi fan.
Cool. Which
is a pretentious way of saying I'm a Luigi fan. No.
Well, at least you understand why he has a fan base. Not just like the thirst
of course, yes.
But like the populist appeal of
the thirst trap part of it is actually degenerate and disgusting and kind of fucks over the what valid points are there. I find the thirst trap
stuff hilarious and amusing.
Yeah, same with like Jeffrey Epstein memes, but like they're in some sense deeply unproductive. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, so saying they're unproductive is true. But my point is that like my initial response to his fandom was, hey, this is cool. And like, look at like the synergy happening between, polarized political viewpoints on killing billionaires, right? And so I'm like, all right, that's cool. There's value there.
But for the record, I would not say it's cool. Again, I understand the sentiment.
Right.
So I'm not a Luigi fan.
It's not cool to murder where's my camera? It's not cool to murder people at all. I just want to be clear on that. That's not cool. But it is cool when you have a major social event that is innately revolutionary, I would say.
Accelerationist, revolutionary, radical.
Innately radical that also manages to cross the political, what is it? What's the thing chart? The political chart?
Whatever. Political divide. Yeah. Political divide. Yeah. My video is this radical centrist terrorism?
Right.
People were calling it that. Yeah.
That shit. I don't want to get off. I don't want to get off hand.
Okay.
So I'm saying, bring all this up though, because like after the initial wave of synergy, you started to see reasons why that opposition exists, which is like some people are like, hey, everybody agrees, healthcare sucks, healthcare institutions suck, billionaires suck, yada, yada, yada. And then like after everybody shakes hand and agrees on that, and then it goes, because of the Jews. You know what I'm saying? It because of the queers, because of the blacks. And it's like, all right, then we have a problem. So
that is the single most counterproductive force stopping people from achieving what I would say are revolutionary ends. Fine, we can use that terminology. I'm fine. Depending on what revolution we're talking about, I can be in favor of it.
They can be bloodless. They can be slow.
Yeah, the Velvet Revolution, right? In I forget where it was, Hungary or not Hungary?
I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, I need to do more historical research.
The Congo, the Democratic Republic of Congo, back in 60 something. With Patrice Lumumba, that was for the most part a bloodless revolution. They murdered him right after it, but like it shows how organizing can make things happen.